4 plus 4? A plus 5 plus okay, so somewhere 8, 5, 8, 7, isn't it? Within 5 minutes. I tried to check whether the transaction had actually took place from. Then I discovered that it was done from a Facebook account. I tried checking my account. I was logged out of my own pages I was actually running. Money is all gone. I tried to make a follow-up with Zanaco. Zanaco said call Facebook. And I wondered, how do I call Facebook? Okay, I called a friend who was looking for Zanaco. He gave me to follow. I did everything. At the same time, I managed to also communicate with Zanaco. They pushed my issue and I was able to get back my money. That was after a month. If I was able to get back my monies, it never meant that I was actually clever. It was just that I did the correct thing. Okay? And hence, the reason why we decided to bring to you cybersecurity. Okay, if someone was to ask, what is the need of us discussing about this cybersecurity? I want you to know that cybersecurity is important because it protects all the data, or maybe all categories of data. Okay, today, whenever you happen to check any Facebook accounts or maybe Facebook updates, you would actually maybe receive something in your inbox of someone trying to tell, say, send me your number, I want to activate it to free Wi-Fi. Okay, you received that one before, isn't it? And the moment you decide to send them that, then you are gone. That is what we call social engineering. Because they come to you in a nice way, and yet trying to get something from you. We are seeing banks and social media accounts being hacked. A number of people no longer have their account because they are gone. If you have your account, it's either they'll be posting pornographic materials and tagging other people with 99 others. Or if it's not that, then they'll be posting Illuminati on your profile, isn't it? Some of you are victims. You no longer have your accounts today. Then we also have experiences where people are being scammed of their monies, almost every now and then. Someone will send you a message saying, I've sent you, let's say, a 250 in your account, then they'll call saying, I've mistakenly sent you their money, isn't it? How do you react? All those are what we call nothing but social media scams. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers, defending servers, defending mobile devices, electronic systems, network systems, and data from malicious attacks. So malicious is something that gives a vulnerability to either you or a computing device. When you talk about a vulnerability, we're simply talking about a weakness. Okay, so that is cybersecurity. Then, what is it that cybersecurity protects? Number one, cybersecurity will protect your online identity. Your online identity is who you are whenever you are on the social media, isn't it? I'm sure you agree with me that the way we behave on social media is not how we are in real life, isn't it? So your online presence on the social media is what we call your online identity. Okay? Then social media is also there to protect your offline identity. When you talk of the offline identity, we're simply talking about the people or friends that you interact with daily, either at home, at work, at school, or anywhere. They know your personal information. Okay? Then, our data is all over. And how do you know that our data is all over? I'll give you an example. What happens when you go to the hospitals? Don't they take your data? They do, isn't it? What happens when you happen to lose your SIM card? Is it easy for you to replace it, or if you don't provide them certain information, they won't give it to you? Sometimes they'll ask you, say, what were your frequent calls, isn't it? Okay, you give them that. How do they know that you have called this person? How do they know? It is because they have the data at their fingertips. Most of you receive messages from the government or anywhere. Or some of the messages that we've received back, I read one of them. It was saying, we have the responsibility of developing our nation. Let us all contribute to the betterment of our country. You at one time received this message. MTN sends us messages. Do we request for them? We don't request for them, but they have our numbers because our data is at their fingertips. Okay. Why do they want our information? Okay. Our information is able to give them money. Okay. They can use information to make money. More especially if they manage to scam you, they'll send in messages. At one time I received an email from a friend who was like, my friend, I'm kind of stranded. I'm in the UK and I'm unable to get back. Then I wondered, because it was like just a few days ago, I was with this guy. So I thought of calling, and the phone rang. To myself, I was like, how can the phone ring? Someone says that UK. And the guy said, you've done well for me, because if you go ahead and send them your monies, it is your business. I've been hacked. So meaning, this is also proof that it is not only your Facebook accounts that can get hacked, but also your emails, isn't it? So meaning, the people that managed to send him monies, they lost. Okay. So these guys are after your monies. Okay. Then these guys are also after your identity. They want to use your identity to create or commit crimes. I've received people saying, if you tell me with 99 others, I'll block you. I'm here to confirm to you that they're not the ones that are attacking you, but the links that they clicked on, either knowingly and unknowingly, are the ones that have actually hacked them. Sometimes these guys are not even aware that their Facebook accounts are even posting other things. Okay, so they are here after your identity because they want to commit crimes in your name. When we talk of cybersecurity, we mainly talk about the CIA stand. CIA meaning there is what we call confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality ensures that your data is your data. It should not be public, isn't it? Why should your personal data go public? It does not make sense. So confidentiality will ensure that. The integrity will also ensure that there is accuracy with the information that you actually providing. It is trustworthy. Okay. Then availability. Information must always be available, but it must not only be available, but it must be available to the correct people. Okay. I'll look at some of the common cases in Zambia of cybersecurity or cyber crimes. Because sometimes we may tend to think maybe cybersecurity is Zoom, isn't it? Okay. The first case that I'll talk about is of a young man that hacked into the State House website. That was somewhere around 1996. By then, we had President Chiluba, isn't it? So this young boy went into the State House website, changed the photo of President Chiluba, and put in the photo of the cartoon. Imagine someone going to the State House website, like right now, changing the photo of President Hakainde and putting the photo of SpongeBob. The man was arrested. I'm sure you want to know what happened, isn't it? It was convicted or not. The guy was set free. Do you know why? It was because by then Zambia did not have any laws that were restricting people from committing cyber crimes. So he won the case against the president. He went free. The second major case, by the way, this led to the enactment of the Cybercrime Act, which was only passed on last year. That was 2021, on the 24th of March. We now have the cybercrime law, meaning this time around, if you commit a case, you can even be convicted for 15 years. Okay, the second case was of the blind man. The blind man was convicted for hacking Airtel money, for hacking Airtel Zambia. And not only did he hack Airtel Zambia, but he had also managed to start stealing Airtel from the notable people like he hacked Airtel Zambia, but he had also managed to start stealing Airtel from the notable people like Given Lubinda, Steve Nyirenda, the owner of Movie TV, a blind man. This guy was arrested. Okay, then we had the. Oh, by the way, if you want to prove this is you can find this from. You can just Google "blind man convicted for hacking Airtel Zambia." It was published on the 7th of April 2014. Okay, then we had another one. Do you remember at one time MTN had winning 1 million bid, something like that? Remember it? An IT specialist was arrested for hacking into the system and making his girlfriend to win the 1 billion. That was in Livingstone. Okay, and another popular one happened in 2008. Our Zabnet website, the one which hosts the State House website, was once again hacked. This time around by the Turkish. They got hold of it and they demanded a ransom for them to let it go. The government had offered but to pay. I'll not tell you the types of hackers. We're what you call amateurs. Amateurs are hackers that you usually receive, the ones that usually send you messages. No, send me this what my number is not working. So these are sometimes called script kiddies because they do not even need any experience for them to be able to commit any crime. Okay, then we have the actual hackers. These actual hackers will break into networks, get access without being authorized, and commit crimes. And these hackers are classified into 3. We have what you call the white hackers. The white hackers are those hackers that will hack into the system, and then after hacking into the system, they go to that company and simply say, I actually managed to hack into your account and I found these weaknesses. Kindly work on this. They will get paid for that. Then we have they're there to protect. Then we have what we call the black hackers. The black hackers are there to destroy. What they just want is to hack you and destroy you. That's all. They don't care about what happens to you. They don't care if they know you or not. What they just want is to finish you. Okay? Then we have the gray hackers. The gray hackers are what we call the Palomwelas. If they're too broke, they become black hackers. If they're okay, they're white hackers. So if they want, they will pretend to be good. At times, they'll be bad. Okay? Then organizational hackers, this is why we find people like organizations like the Al-Qaeda network. Remember it? Where Osama bin Laden was. Okay? So this one will have a group of people and they also commit crimes, a lot of crimes. Okay? So basically, these are hackers. Okay? Then we have what we call types of malware. Malware is a short for malicious software. So it is shortened as malware. That is M-A-L. That is malicious. Then W-A-R-E. That is software. So malware, malicious software. We have what you call spyware. Spyware. These are softwares that can be installed on your phones or laptops and they're meant to be spying on you. The most common type of spyware software is what we call a keylogger system. A number of people have actually installed the keylogger systems, especially the husbands and also the wives. You find that they'll actually install the keylogger system on their husbands'
laptop or phone, and the wife also do the same thing. What the keylogger will be doing, it will actually be taking everything that you do on your phone, it will be sending it to the person that you activated it. Secret. They're there. Okay? Then we have what we call the adwares. The adwares, these are softwares that bring pop-ups on your apps. I'm sure you've seen them, right? For example, to be advertising either Airtel, Trade Kings, and so on. You don't even request for it. So those are what we call adwares. Then the bots comes from the web robot. This one waits for the actual person to activate it. Then once it's activated, then they can attack computers. Okay. Then we have the ransomware. The ransomware would just say your computer is about to crash. Send us this amount and we'll help you fix it. So that they have to demand for things, force you, and destroy you. Then we've got worms. We also have viruses. Okay. Symptoms that you might be having a virus will include your computer not responding well, files will be modified and also renamed, and so on. Okay, I explained about social engineering. Okay, how it takes most. If you do not want to be tagged, for example, in any of these posts, what do? You go to your settings. Okay, if we can have our phones, then we can demonstrate, eh? Because most of us are victims of being tagged. Okay, so when you get our phones, are we all able to go online? Okay, so I'm using my phone as well. I also want you to use your phones. Okay, just want to connect. Okay. Okay, then you click on the menu on your phone, where it is this one that I would manage to turn, right? So under menu, go to privacy and settings. Are you able to see it? Find Wi-Fi, games, events, suggest, recent settings and privacy. Are you able to see it? Are we there? Or some of us are lost? Are we there? Yes. Okay, then click on the settings. Okay, are we there? Okay, under settings, scroll down to where it's written security and login. Security and login. Yes, are you able to see it? Okay, then from security and logins, there is okay, this one is for security first. For security and logins, this one is not for taggings, but for two-factor authentications. So as you go down, there's where it's written use two-factor authentication. You can see it. Turn on the two-factor authentications, then come back so that we finish the tagging first of all. Okay, have you enabled the two-factor authentication? I'll explain what that one is. Then come back, just do one back, then come to profile and tagging. Profile and tagging, are we able to see it? Are we there? Or we are lost? Okay, TV part. Okay, profile and taggings. Okay, are we there?
Yes, it is.
Of settings.
Yes.
Okay, I'll quickly run through from the settings again.
Oh,
Okay, so settings. Once you click on the settings, go to where it's written profile and tagging.
No.
Profile and tagging. It's just down. Just scroll down. It's under privacy. Are you able to see it? Okay. Then when you're on the taggings, you see things like who can post on your profile. Are you able to see that one? So for that one, I advise you to go for friends. Not friends of friends, but just friends. Okay? Then the second one is who can see what others post on your profile. I also advise you to go for friends. The main concern is on the tagging. Who can see posts when you're tagged on your profile? Maintain the same one, friends. Then go under review. Under reviewing, review tags people add to your post. That one should be on. If it's off, turn it on. Confirm if you've turned it on. If it was off, then it simply means that's the reason why you are being tagged. Then review posts that tagged in before they appear on your profile. Turn it on as well. Have you done it? Okay, have we all done that one? Okay, for the screenshots of this entire thing procedure, I'll send it to that WhatsApp group. But once you do this one, know that you're protected. Even if someone tags you, you've got the powers to either allow or not to allow something to appear on your profile. So this time around, if something appears on your profile, then you just wanted it to appear. So for the people that have actually attended this class today, if I ever see something on your profile and you're my friend, this must be like that, isn't it? Okay, then I also give you tips for choosing a good password. How have you created your passwords? Some of you have used your children's names. Some of you have used your date of birth. Some of you have combined your hobbies and maybe your date of birth name, isn't it? Okay. I'll give you a few tips. Number one, do not use dictionary words. In short, don't use words that are easy to guess. Okay? Then do not use computer names or accounts. Okay? Then if possible, you should use alphanumeric passwords and they should have special characters. What we mean is, for example, you can your password maybe can be 2021 0 in words, then you put a special character, either a hash sign or anything. In short, let it be balanced so that it's not easy for someone to master it. Okay. Then ensure that you always back up your data in case you get hacked. Then do not share so much information on social media. Information, for example, if you're traveling somewhere, don't tell people saying, okay, for example, me and my family are going this side, just stand down. You're giving, number one, thieves access to your home, then two, even hackers, isn't it? Then don't show everything that happens in your life on social media. It will also give hackers a weakness for them to be able to follow you and do something to you. Then again, Even when you use two-factor authentication, I said I was going to explain two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication simply means whenever you try to log into your account, either Facebook or whatever, before you can actually log in, they have to send you a code to your number. Right? It is only when you verify that number, that's when you'll be able to log in. If you don't verify that number, it simply means you can't log in. But this time around, hackers have known that you guys are using two-factor authentication. So what do? They come to your inbox and they tell you that, for example, I want to activate the free Wi-Fi or I want to talk to you, just give me your number. Once you give them, they'll simply say, okay, they'll send a code to your number, kindly share it with me. It's an 8 numbered codes, isn't it? Once you send that code, you know what happens to you? They'll get the code, they'll enter into their accounts, and once it is entered, then you're gone. Then what do you do when you discover that your account is hacked? Immediately find an IT specialist to help you. If you have my number, call me immediately. I mean immediately, before they can change your details. Because once they delete your number, then it simply means you are ruined. We cannot help you to recover it. But if your number is safe, then we can help you to recover your account. Then about people that ask for your codes either on mobile, the moment when you try to give your code again, let's say for your Zapit account, and you happen to lose your monies, I want to tell you that Zanaco will have nothing to do with you. One day I was seated in the office. I will not mention the affected person, but she's one of the lecturers here. As was seated, all of a sudden I just heard one woman screaming on top of her voice, "My money, my money, my money!" And I was having a number of students, so I had to let them go. And some good people, those who are close to her, went to her, tried to support her. Then they remembered that at one time I had an issue to do with my monies, and I managed to recover my monies. Okay, so they wanted to find out how I did it. So I explained. So I also wanted to find out what happened, and then she said, "This person called me and actually requested for my number, for my code, the code that came to my phone, and actually sent that code, and in no seconds, all my monies, it was about 10,000, and that was her salary. It was all gone." Then she said, "Can Zanaco help us?" And I said, "I doubt." She went to the police said, "You allowed it." Zanaco also said, "You allowed it." So what am I trying to say? Using social engineering. Social engineering is where hackers convince you to send them something. And once you send them that thing, then they take advantage of you. In the case where you willingly give out your code, the bank has got nothing to do with you and what happens to your account. So it is always important that we are always careful with the activities that we do online. Then again, don't click on any link that comes on your profile, especially the untrusted links. Once you click on that link, it's either you're going to tag others, right? Or your account will be hacked. So before you can actually click on a link, verify. If someone requests for your number and it's your friend and you have their number, call them privately, simply ask them, "Are you calling me for my number?" Otherwise, you'll be taking yourself in the hands of a lion. So basically, these are a few tips that you need to take. I will not really talk about the stress that you really go through when you're hacked. That one will be handled by my fellow presenters. For now, I rest my case unless there are questions.
Another round of applause for Mr. Personaga. So it's time for questions. If you have any questions, if you're not clear about something, please, it's your time to ask. Okay.
So what's really the disadvantage of being hacked?
Or being hacked?
Yes.
Okay. The major disadvantage of being tagged. Okay, if you're tagged in a good post, you're okay. But if you're tagged in useless posts, like the pornographic material that are actually going on, some people misjudge you and also misjudge your character. So it is your duty to protect your own character by ensuring that your tagging settings are actually on. It is you to allow it. For you to appear on my profile, unless you have put connections there.
Connections.
Connections are everywhere. You need to have connections. Any other question? It was all clear. We have no more questions. You have a question? No. Okay. I think the lesson was very clear. I'm assuming. Oh, there's a question.
If we can a contribution to make over the cybersecurity. Most of the cases, everything that we do, people don't believe us by our weight. It might be a motivational speaker, but people won't believe by our weight. But most people believe us by our actions. So whatsoever we do on social media becomes 75 of our personality. That's the reason why you say what we post or what we tag to must be something of beneficial to others. So if bad things come about, then you have negative thoughts to others, where people will be judging the book by its cover. Wow, you're not such kind of a person. So the best way, we should mind what we post, and it gives room and courage. If you do poetry, you do motivation to others, you post motivation each and every day on a everyday basis, you motivate others. But now in the case of whereby you post things that are not so good, like let's say pornography, it will give room and it won't give any respect. That's why members will say, "Oh, for the respect is not built by others, but you're going to build it by yourself." So most of the times they will tell you, say, "Don't do everything around your circle, but better do it from afar." Thank you. Most of the times they will tell you, say, "Don't do everything around your circle, but better do it from afar." Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful contribution.
All right, thank you very much. I want to ask on the issue.
Thank you for the wonderful contribution.
All right, thank you very much. I want to ask on the issue whereby you create, and then after some time you discover that your account, you don't have access to it. You have tried your password, you have tried all the logins, but you're told you don't have access to it, but your details are fixed in it. What's your say on that?
Okay, yesterday I posted something in that WhatsApp group for those that are there. It was actually showing ways that you need to do in case you've lost your password. I'm sure some of you followed it, isn't it? Okay, it's called the Facebook identity. Using the Facebook identity, even if you've forgotten your password, so long as your details are all correct, you can always retrieve it. There's a point where Facebook also to either upload either your NRC that is prove your identity, your passport, or your driver's license. Once you post that one, it will definitely help you recovering it, unless there's second hand. Then the other point is mind the numbers that you usually use, right? If you know that you no longer use that number and you attach it to your Facebook account, change it before you lose your account. Otherwise, those are cases where it's difficult for you to be able to retrieve your account. Okay, so in short, just avoid
using numbers that you no longer use. Then that way you can always retrieve your accounts.
Any more questions? I guess there are no questions. Where?
I've got a question concerned because we discovered to say that one of the things that would be stolen of your identity information. So now I'm looking at the case of Facebook. Those that get other things like that. So is there anything else they end up like benefiting from? Maybe besides the tarnishing your image, like portraying you in that manner. Is there anything else that they will have access to, they will gain? In a case where they maybe face because there are no connection with maybe getting money also.
Thank you. Okay, I want you to know that your Facebook friends are a resource. That's the reason why online businesses, we are people that are depending on our friends for our business to grow, isn't it? So if they can take over your account and they post those things, it is not all your friends that will discard that message. Some of your friends will, using the Nicodemus way, inbox them and that's details. For example, the Illuminatis. They'll follow them because who doesn't want to get rich? So they'll follow them. So your Facebook friends are a great resource. That is the reason why some companies like Abma have got their motto saying investing in people because people are a better investment. So they want your identity, they want your friends, they want you to be able to commit crimes in your name. Because they know that you've got friends that really trust you. So if they can commit crimes using your identity, then they know that you actually make it well in life.
Maybe just to add on in trying to answer your question. So there are people who will hug you and you think they may not benefit anything. But the greatest benefits that they will get is satisfaction and it ends there. Do we have medical students in here? Do you have medical students? Yes. There is a condition that is known as kryptonite. That is a mental illness condition. People that steal, and they are stealing for nothing. They just want to get satisfaction out of that, and there are a lot of them out there. They're going to tarnish your image, and when they tarnish your image, they're going to be satisfied. No money will tarnish your image, they're going to be satisfied. No money involved, nothing involved.
Any more? You have a question?
Yeah. Again, to what you're saying, it's very important. When you begin to make a name, you begin to look at the circle of people that you're being found with. Because it's not everybody that gives you a smile that will love you. Even the Bible says to say, will love you. Even the Bible says to say, they honor me by their lips, but their hearts are far over me. So there every time that people that would love to destroy you, they would love to destroy everything about you, demolish your name, say bad things about you. You meanwhile you what? You're a good person. So each and every time, as you do it on Facebook, try to look around. It's not everybody that says you're a friend because you can accept the person. So first, scan the person before you approve the friend because see I think most of the times when you go to about, you would understand what people love, what people like. From there, you'll be able to start to say, okay, this person we can go along, this person we cannot go along. Then you do it from there. Just to avoid such incidents. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions?
thank you very much. Mine is on the 99 others tagged. I've never been tagged, but because some of us are very curious, we request others to. I've never been tagged, but because some of us are very curious, we request others to tag us so that we know what it is all about. So in this other account that I have for Facebook, I requested someone to do the tagging. And when I was tagged, I followed the link. And when I followed the link, I realized after clicking the link, there was nothing playing, except I was asked to log into Facebook. So I tried false information to log in, and I was told, this is not correct. You can't log in. I realized that what actually these people do is that when they tag you and you follow the link, they'll prepare a Facebook-looking login page. And here I have, I don't know if it can be displayed. It is possible. It's possible. I have something that looks like Facebook login page. This was done in an hour or so that I've been here. It's okay. Look at that one. That is Facebook login page, isn't it? Yeah, it is Facebook login page. But that is in my computer. That is not real. That is not the actual Facebook login page. So when you are taken to such a page, obviously it looks like Facebook, and you're going to supply your information. And when you do so, I'll have the capability of keeping your username and your password. Then I send you to the actual login page for Facebook. Actually, you will go inside because your session has not expired. So what these people do is they'll prepare a clone that will look exactly like the page that you are currently accessing. And when you supply that information, they'll have all your login credentials, and that's how they get to you. Benefits, I asked about benefits. What do they benefit from there? There are quite a lot, apart from information itself. There are quite a lot. And you know, as the speaker said, that the greatest investment is in people. If you invest in people, you have the greatest investment. So suppose I have 30 accounts that I'm able to log in. Anytime I'm broke, I'm going to text a friend to 130 and send me something. They're going to send for sure. Okay? So this is actually what happens. And then I have a question to the speaker. Do the people that create these systems, do they deliberately leave out such vulnerabilities, or there are no absolute secure systems? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Firstly, I want to tell you that Facebook is a business platform. Mark Zuckerberg is here for business. And the second, security is of Facebook's concern. Just that they cannot impose certain rules on everyone, but instead they've actually made people to have options. For example, you can actually choose either to be tagged or not to be tagged. Those are some of the security features. Facebook is aware of these vulnerabilities that are actually going on. That's the reason why they've actually put a link or a provision for you to be able to report if you suspect that your account was tampered with or was about to get tampered. You can actually report to them, then they will help you securing it. Then thirdly, Facebook will at times also observe what is being posted using your profile. And sometimes you find that they'll block you. I'm sure some of you were in the Facebook jail for some time. Or you've never been there. It's either Facebook will suspend you, or
they will disable your account permanently. Okay, so it just so they are aware of these security breaches, and they try by all means to keep advising people. But in as much as they have programmers, hackers are also programmers. Others are even better than the programmers that they have at Facebook. Others are also programmers. Others are even better than the programmers that they have at Facebook. Others are even former employees of Facebook. So they are aware of those securities, and they try to sensitize people on the same. But we pray and hope that people will be sensitized, and maybe more security features will be put so that hackers should not have a chance to have any playground. Thank you.
Okay, this will be the last question.
Okay, I've seen people sharing what hackers do, and I think there's just one important thing which we should do. I think we should know. Before I went to the department, I worked in Zesco. I was a cashier, and I just want to share how people steal money from your account. Like in your case, when you go in ShopRite, those who are swiping, when you swipe, your Visa card number remains with the cashier on the slip. So what you should do to protect yourself is to erase that 3-digit number, maybe just keep it somewhere or know it in case you want to do something online. For somebody to buy something online, they just need that digit number, then the 3-digit number behind the card. So most of those people who do those things are people who are close to you, people who have access to your card, or in ShopRite or Pick and Pay, or when you swipe. So when somebody swipes, they remain with the copy, if you see. They remain with that copy. That copy has everything apart from the 3-digit number. Now the person had the card, you just do like this. When you are gone, he buys anything online. And you can actually withdraw money anyway. They can even remake the card. Yeah, so that's where it comes from.
All right.
Okay, just to conclude. So avoid using public places, internet in public places. If you're going to use a public internet cafe, always log out. Right? Then never share your the security code behind your ATM. Like you said, and for sure it works. When purchasing things online again, using either these online platforms, use trusted sites like eBay, Amazon. Then again, don't purchase directly. Attach your PayPal account. At least with PayPal, you know that it's 100% money guarantee. If anything goes wrong, PayPal pay you back. But if you're going to risk it and just enter your card directly, if you happen to get scammed, you have no one but yourself to blame. Right? So for you who buy things online, always know the trusted sites. Your ATM, they are for you to master, not for everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank God for this masterclass, because I never knew there were a lot of, or maybe let me say, types of hackers. So at least we learned something today. Let's give another round of applause to Mr. Preston Mwenda for the wonderful presentation. And so at this point, we're going to have one poem from the Angelic Poet. And just before that, allow me to recognize the presence of former EDSU president, Mr. Imbida. I almost say what you said to welcome you. I thought I was at church. Sir, you're most welcome. And Mr. Felix, the former debate president, am I right? Yes, you're welcome. So we're going to have one poem, and after the poem, we're going to have a song from Precious. the agenda points.
We are going to have a poem entitled, "This is my humble prayer." So please lend us your ears so that they will drink pure Adventist poem.
I am growing up, and I'm always going up, and my emotions are always blurred up, mixed up, and confusing. Sometimes I feel angry when I'm hungry. I am mostly rude and in a bad mood. Dear God, please help me so that I may not live an illusion due to this emotional confusion. Dear God, when I see a pretty girl, my heart beats faster. Biology says it's the hormones, and preachers say it's the demons. Please, dear God, help me so that I may not live an illusion due to this emotional confusion. Dear Lord, everyone around me is dirty, and I do not want to be outdated. And the pressure is too much that I feel I am no match for it. I had really tried to remain single, but the other teenage part of me told me I was ready to mingle, and because of that, I ended up being hurt and hurting the people I thought I was in love with. Please, please, dear God, you are the greatest love on earth. May you teach me the real difference between love and infatuation so that I may reduce on all this anger and frustration. This is my humble prayer.
Dear God, may you hold my hand so that I may be bold to walk down the road. The road that is filled with temptation and sinful equations. Dear God, may you help me when I'm in need. Feed me when I'm hungry. Cool down when I'm angry. Bless me so that I may not miss a meal and steal. Guide me so that I may not kill. Draw me near to your presence that I may feel. Comfort me so my broken heart may heal. Dear God, may you help me to be the better person in life. Be with me so that I may stop stabbing my friends in the back with knives. Help me to love my neighbors as I love myself. Dear God, may you show me true friends, because I just sit at home alone chatting with a fake 1,000 friends, forgetting the friends who really care. I am always panicking when my phone falls, but when my friends fall, I laugh. Nowadays, my phone is my everything, that I have forgotten about the important things. I am always on the phone, forgetting, pretending to communicate. Dear God, this is my humble prayer.
This is my humble prayer.
This is my humble prayer. Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. So we're going to have a song now from Precious. Let's give a round of applause. Good afternoon or evening. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm doing a very short song now. If I crumble, if I fall, if I ever lose it all, when my back is down, I'll still be standing. If I cry to ramble, if I cry and still I'm not. When the lights go out, I'll still be standing. If I crumble till I cry, if I ever lose it all. When the lights go off, that's when I illuminate, 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 illuminate. Boys, Precious, please teach me how to sing. I need to be singing. So we're going to have our second speaker, who is Mr. Aubrey Jindalo. Please let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so mine is something I can say very simple, but it is something that's been affecting a lot of us. Okay, mine just going to talk about mental health itself. I believe and I understand that for you to properly function, you need to be mentally stable. Is that not so? Okay. Now, for us to be mentally stable, we need to be one in a very good environment. Okay. Now, before I get to really what makes us not have a stable mind or mentally ill, is caused by a number of factors, which is not quite new to most of us. Mental illness is caused by a lot of factors. Number one, I'll talk about people that have been sexually abused, probably that. Number two, I'll talk about one child growing up in a very environment. Okay? Number three, I'll talk about drug abuse. And I'll keep on mentioning a few down the line. But then I want to get to what our previous speaker has actually mentioned, especially of one date. The numbers are almost everywhere. I think it requires me to share my contact numbers with most people, social media or wherever I meet. Okay. Surprise one time when this particular, okay, with a lot of my photos. I didn't know how they managed to, get my photos. And in the caption, this person says, I have all those and I want to share them on social media, writing something very bad. I didn't understand. Like what they are actually saying, others would want to benefit, but just tarnishing your name, that's it. It ends there. Okay, so this person wrote up all this, and I decided to ignore it. I didn't pay attention, I didn't respond, I didn't do anything. Well, I don't know if at all they managed to do what they wanted to do. If they did, probably they tarnished my name in whatever way. Now, what is bullied, okay, on social media? And this gets up to them. If they don't have the right people in their circles to talk to, most of them will end up committing suicide or getting depressed and all those things, which is something that we would not really want. And now, how do all these come about? One, I talked about the causes of mental health or mental illness. Understand that there are 2 points that we need to understand here. There's mental and there's poor. Okay, let me say there's mental illness and there's poor mental. The 2 cannot be married. How is it so? Mental illness, I'm sure we've seen a lot of, close relatives and probably friends or colleagues and everything, probably tell you, and all those things, right? Which is mental illness. Then there's poor mental health. There's one man who said, your body is the only home you have. Are we together? So your body is the only thing is to tell you that for a computer to operate, you need to command. And once the processor crashes, meaning the entire computer cannot operate, not so. And this is exactly how a human being operates. If your mental stability is not on point, a lot of things will shake you. Your body will not be good, your health will not be good because mentally you are not okay. Okay? So the emotions that are involved, your physical stature is affected, your physical being is also affected. A lot of people have actually grown up in homes where they would witness parents arguing and they would witness parents fighting. As a result, the child's mental well-being would not be up to speed. Why? Because they're seeing all these things happening and then at the end of the day they're traumatized. They're affected in that particular area. Okay? Now, how do we make sure that we don't really get affected mostly by all those things? So let me start with people that have been sexually abused. You find that at some point, a child would decide not to be so open to a lot of people. Okay? One example I'll give you, a child who's been raped. The actual act of somebody being raped, I think they'll either decide to cover their mouth and do whatever they're doing. So that same act, a child is going to grow up with it all the way through. And as they grow up, they fail to even come out and speak, even when they are affected. Okay? I'll give you an example. I think I did share this on social media or something, which I've been told not to share now. So, like after I just completed my secondary, I must tell you that I was subjected to a lot of things, and I ended up being mentally not okay. Became a street kid for almost a year. Was staying in one incomplete house, it wasn't roofed. When it's raining, you need to move to a place to make sure that you're not soaked and all that. That resulted or caused me to start abusing drugs. And I'll tell you at this point, when this happened, I was almost becoming a junkie, like they would say. I never cared at all if I knew you, if I didn't know you. I would meet church members who would want to talk to me on a personal level, but then I decided to push everybody out. And why did this get up to this level? One, because the circles that we create, okay, the circle of friends that we create should be able to allow me share what I'm going through. Are we together? It will reach you to a point where you really need to share. And if you don't share, a lot of people will explode. Okay? Once you explode, then others will decide to commit suicide, which is something that we do not really want. Okay? Let's talk about the physical damage to the body when one is not mentally stable. I'm sure you realize that even after you take a bath, if your mind is not up straight, there's a lot that you're going to find you have pimples on your face. Why? I'm sure we've experienced all this, not all. You find pimples on your face. This is just an indication to tell you that you're not mentally okay. I'll give you an example. One, you have headaches. Medical students will tell you this, that a headache is not an illness. Or is it? Maybe I should be proven wrong. Is a headache an illness? Is a headache an illness? I need somebody to respond. Yes? No? Is it an illness? No, this is a class, so we need to learn about all this. Yes, sir. You're an engineer? Okay. You're okay. So he's saying a headache is an illness. Do we have others that are thinking otherwise? Is a headache an illness or is not? Mr. Felix, what do you think?
There are two types of headaches, yeah? Number one is a headache that might be caused as a result of something that's not okay with you. But then there's what we call a chronic headache. A chronic headache is just a headache that's a headache. It's not being caused by anything. It's not being caused by anything. And its treatment is just simply going to be treated as that.
Okay.
So yeah, it might be an indication and it might be an illness.
Okay, anybody else before I can? Anyone else? The headache, an illness. Okay, so we're talking about mental wellness, okay? And like I said, I gave an example of a computer. You have signals, or the way the body operates. When something is wrong in your body, it will send a signal to your brain. Are we together? Once it sends a signal to your brain, it will simply tell you, okay, you indicate and tell this person that you're not okay. How? You have a headache. Okay? Now, when you have a headache, once you go to the hospital, they'll ask you, what is the problem? You tell them I have a headache. They'll just give you painkillers, not so. You understand? But they would have not really found out exactly what the problem is. You might have a problem in your stomach. The stomach will send a signal to your brain. Okay? You start having a headache. You go to the hospital, they'll check everything and examine and tell you that actually this headache that you have is caused by ABC. So the engineers, when you have the headache, probably you're stressed, you're fatigued, not that you're suffering from a headache. Well, there are migraines. You still have a headache, not all. What will affect your headache, what will give you a headache is because you don't want too much light, or because somebody sitting next to you is wearing a very, a strong perfume or something, it will give you a headache. Okay? Now, most of you that are probably in school will have a lot of anxiety. You have too much pressure, in class. You have a lot of assignments. You're not up to speed. You are, backdated on a lot of things. And so anxiety comes in. Your mental well-being will not be up to speed. Okay? It will lead you into depression at the end of the day. How do you handle all those things? Towards the conclusion, I think I'm going to talk about how you need to handle all these things. There are others that are married, elders, and others that are in here. You face a number of issues, especially when you are home. But then, how do you handle these issues in the presence of the kids? How do you make sure that you sort out and have a solution? How do you have, a proper conversation without showing your children that you actually have a fight? The other parents have to decide to just start it up, even when kids are there. They don't even care what happens. Just that, blows will be thrown and punches and, all that. The kids are seeing that. The more reason why you find a lot of husbands now being so violent in their homes is because they've grown up in that kind of environment. Are we together? And so once you grow up in certain environment, it becomes very hard for you to just come off because you've seen how people live, and that is the only thing that you know. For me, I don't really want to take questions at the end. I think I would love to engage my class. If at all you have any questions at this point before I can move to the next one. Do we have any question, any contribution? It's a class. I'm not supposed to be talking and speaking alone. Does it mean we are very much clear or we are lost? Okay. You're still thinking? Should we proceed? For me, it's not really going to take much time. I'll need to, I think, give the next speaker to speak as well. So, would you suffer from mental health overnight? Do you think it's possible for one to suffer or have a mental condition, a mental illness overnight? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible to have a mental issue overnight? My class is too quiet. There's something I'm not doing right. Yes.
I don't believe it happens overnight. The process for you to reach a certain income. And the problem is most people tend to ignore the signs that are there. When they reach there, they cannot go back because they know the stepping ladders in the mental.
Okay. Alex, do you think it's possible to have a mental illness overnight? Elder, what do you think? Is it possible for one to have a mental problem overnight?
It's a process. Thank you so much once more. I feel it's a process that cannot just come overnight. Because if you talk of overnight, it's a short period that something will be triggered that we will start causing mental illness. But as we were alluded to, it depends on the background under which somebody is being brought up. I think that's where we begin. When everyone is born, I think we are a plain paper with nothing written on it. But along the way, what is written on it is what matters most in our lives. I thank you.
Okay. I saw another hand behind. Yes.
It also depends on the kind of mental illness. Seeing that there are a number of them. So some of them usually give you signs that they are coming out. Give you signs of showing some indications that this is not how it is. But there are some mental illnesses that, yes, might come within a blink of an eye. You are involved in an accident today. It won't be a strange thing if PTSD develops overnight, and you start hearing cars from downwards. So it depends on the kind of mental illness that you're looking at. There are some that develop within a period of time, and there are some other mental illnesses that can just come like that. So yeah, it depends on the kind of mental illness. Though most of them usually give us indications before starting.
Okay, Michelle, I saw your hand up.
Oh, yes. I don't know whether that was also mental illness or because that's me assuming that it was. But speaking from experience, I think there was a time that I was down. I had that bad experience and I consider that to be mental illness. So I think it's myself.
Okay.
Happened over.
And he understands where you're short. Okay. So, it's yes. I think the last time before I can summarize.
I would say personally, when I'm stressed, night can pass without listening. But just like I find ways in which I'm going to release my stress. Sit down, read a book, finish chapters in the book, finish chapters in the book afterwards, the pen is really busy out. Finish chapters in the book, finish chapters in the book afterwards, the pen is really busy out. Now, the problem spend a lot at night. That's the reason why people die a lot at night, because you don't have any comfort zone. So it will cause problems to you because you don't have anyone to talk to. And that's now if you keep out the condition whereby you are left alone, you don't have a plan B to do what's next thing.
Okay. So generally we'll say for one to reach that extent, it cannot mostly happen overnight. It's a process that you're subjected to up to that particular time when you feel broken. Okay? A lot of experiences that we might really be going through, at some point we'll live on with it. Thinking I'll survive, I'll go on with it, it's okay, I'll manage. Up to the time where you feel this particular time, I cannot really handle this anymore. And then you break down. Okay? And before I can actually conclude and say something, I want to ask something. Can your mental health or mental condition be resolved or solved overnight? So the first question I asked you was, can your mental health trigger overnight? Now, can your mental health be resolved or sorted or corrected overnight? Is it possible? Certainly not, right? Because it's a process that you've been subjected to from the time you're experiencing this particular condition up to the time that you break down. So it is not possible for one to certainly say, okay, fine, now my mental wellness, I think I'm up to speed. It's not really possible. Because you need to also go through a process how you're going to digest whatever you've been going through and accept. Okay? So even as I'm going to summarize, I think most of the notes will be able to be platform. I must say, even as we are, staying and living for our own circles, let's try by all means to share certain things. When you feel there's something that is really not okay with you, it's better to talk to a person. Others that love, reading books, like he says, you're frustrated, you are stressed. Read a book, read chapters if you want to finish a book in a night, right? If you're able to find relief that way. There are others that are not really good in sorting out this. They will end up punching walls or breaking plates or something like that just to have relief. Others would love to have pain, on their body. Then all that is gone. But I think the best way that we'll need to really focus much is the next person that we have. Some of us talk a lot, but we have, say, no people to talk to. I don't know if you're getting that point. You might be very talkative, jovial, and everything, but when you have issues, you don't have anyone to talk to. Hence, you break down. I think my general point, my general conclusion will be, let's find people that we can sit down and say, okay, fine, this is what I'm going through, what do you think I should do? But even as you...
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Let's give another round of applause to Mr. Owen. Okay, I think I have my co-presenter in the house now. Please, Medelo, come to the podium and welcome the guests, and as they welcome you as well.
You're not clapping for me.
A round of applause for my co-presenter, for my co-host.
See, there's one thing that there's one thing that I also love. Attention. Okay. So for you who have interacted at that level, you will understand that I love attention. So attention number one, the cameraman, please. So you are welcome.
I'm good. I need to welcome you because this is now another segment. So I'm welcoming you to the second segment. Okay, so the first one we had two presenters, and I hope we're enjoying, right? How many of us are not enjoying? We look tired. We look tired. Are we tired? We don't have mental health. There's one thing that I learned during. Tasha, please give the man sweets. He's a married man. Probably he will need some sweets to take home as well. So please bring more. Okay. So maybe we can just do one exercise. Can we all be on our feet? Nimwambene Tizungu ni karibu tayari right. GCE. So pamene tienda ibo GCE tienda. GCE tienda. Oh na. Mayo? No, was that was a supplementary exam? Okay, just simple instructions. Okay, just simple what? Hapa kulikuwa tunaona ile kuma PS system ngati wa guest wa nyamuka. Imamuli kuma PS system. Ndime wanda. So good. Okay, so this is a game that we are going to play just for just a minute. We want to see how many of us would actually follow instruction. Anything that I'm going to say, if I don't add the teacher says, don't do it. If I say something and I don't add the teacher says this, do not do it. Alright? The teacher says, by the way, I'm the teacher. So, today I'm your teacher. It's a rare privilege. Right? I'm not saying Mr. Preston here. The teacher says, raise your hand. Down. The teacher says, raise both hands. Down. The teacher says, clap, clap. Clap, clap. The teacher says, sit down. Clap, clap. Okay, let's see what is next. Sister Faith.
Okay, so I think the questions have already been answered and contributions have been given. So we're just going to go straight to our third speaker. So we're going to invite our third speaker, who is Mr. Pelekalomuya. Please let's give him a round of applause.
So as he is coming, I have a story on his view. To move fast. Move fast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. So we can have a roaming mic. We can have a roaming mic as we start the presentation. So most of the things have been discussed in regards to mental health. You mentioned certain things apologetically because this is what I do. That is my field, and so if I mention certain things, and perhaps at any point if I refer to what I do, it's for the sake of us learning and acquiring the knowledge that is needed. We're here to acquire knowledge, right? Yeah. So where's the roaming mic? By the way, Mr. Preston taught me 8-9 years ago when I was still a student here. I was a student here 8 years ago, right? Yeah, 8, we're getting into 9. And he's the man who taught me how to switch on the computer and switch off the computer. And one of the lessons that I still remember vividly was computer economics. Even without a book and anything, I think I can still remember and give out a few things. All right. Where's the mic? Right. So most of the times when we talk about mental health, what really gets on the minds of people is that we are about to talk about people that are mad, or the other term that is known as schizophrenia. Mad people, that's the condition, is known as schizophrenia. Yeah. So most of the time when we talk about mental health, we think we are about to start talking about people that are mad. And yet when we talk about mental health, we are simply talking about our day-to-day routine. We are talking about simple things that affects us on a daily basis. And so today is not the first day or the first time that you are hearing of the term mental health. And I want to get feedback from you, from what the presenter presented, and basically what you know about mental health. And then we're going to connect to cyber crime. Where is the mic? Give it to anyone. Give it to anyone. Thank you so much. So when you hear mental health, what comes on your mind?
For me, I think basically just the state of being either okay or not okay at that time.
Great. A lady?
I think mental health is something like someone is overthinking about something without finding the answer.
All right, we can also have a response from this side.
You can say someone having pressure or stressed.
Great. So if the question was rather different and we're talking about, for example, headache, and getting to describe what headache is, most of us would have raised our hands because this, most of the times, we do talk about. But we are struggling, most of us, to give a response to mental health because this is a subject that is attached with stigma. Most of the times, we do not talk about it, and yet most of us in here, in as much we may be smiling, we are one way or the other. If we are not affected, then probably someone closer to us is affected. In simple terms, without even getting technical, when we talk about mental health, we are simply talking about a person being in good condition, mentally fit. The word or the term mental simply talks about our cognitive faculties and how we are able to process information on a daily basis. And if you are able to process information on a daily basis in a sober way or a sober manner, then it means you're going to be an individual who is going to be productive. Going to be productive, number one. You're going to deal with the normal stressors of life, number two. Number three, you are able to make relationships and do what? And sustain them. A lot of us make friendships, but we are unable to sustain them. It means there's something that is wrong with you. And I hope Michel is not one of them. He said he was dumped some time back and then he was affected. Now, I would want to know how many times he's gotten, he's jumped from one relationship to the other within a span of time, within a short period of time. We should not even be entertaining it to say, no, if you are perhaps you want to marry, then you should entertaining it to say, no, if you are perhaps you want to marry, then you should date as many people as possible. That is a problem because you are able to form relationships, but you cannot do what? You cannot sustain them. So if you are in a good mental health state, number one, I said, you should be productive on a daily basis. Number two, you should be able to deal with the normal stressors of life. Stressors that come as a result of you having pressure that comes with the school. You have people that have committed suicide because of pressure in school. You have heard of people that were bullied online. We're talking about cybercrime, that were bullied online, and they could not handle such stress, and they ended up committing suicide. Stressors of life. You should be able to handle them. And of course, maintaining relationships that we have talked about. Now, in relation to cybercrime, cybercrime has not started today, but a research was conducted and it was discovered that it became so rampant at a time when COVID-19 took its place. And one thing that caused this was because of the isolation of people. You know, most of us were taught to work from home, to use our gadgets, to use our computers and everything. And most of us were so isolated, we did not have physical contact with people. It is now that we have started getting in contact with people. And so, during that time, cybercrime did what? Increased. And this is a time, actually, if you follow things that are happening around, this is a time when we recorded, for the first time, a lot of people killing themselves. Talk about divorce cases. Talk about GBV. This is a time we recorded these things at a higher rate because of isolation. Now, there is something that happens to the mind when you are isolated for a longer period of time. Others become creative. And the creativity that comes with it, most of the times, is not always sober. Others get into creativity of even coming up with softwares that will damage your reputation, softwares that will damage your identity. So I'm just talking about things from, rather things in isolation. Now, there's something important that I want to draw your attention to, and how thought processes are formed on a daily basis. There is something that is known as the cognitive triangle. In as much as cybercrime is happening, how does it transition for someone to get depressed, stressed, have PTSD and other things? There is what is called the cognitive triangle. I don't know, just through our imaginations, can we see a triangle? Are we able to see a triangle? Right. I don't know if I can use this. So a triangle looks something like this. Everything that happens on a daily basis in your life is on a daily basis in your life is a synopsis of that. It's summarized on that. So on this cognitive triangle, this we use it to start behavior. So at the apex of that triangle, we have the thoughts. Is there anyone who is not thinking now? Is there anyone who is not thinking? You are all thinking, right? Behavior. And ultimately, we can even extend and have what is called physiology. Talk about physiology, we're simply talking about the coordination of, or rather the movement of the body parts and everything. So what happens is this: when you get attacked, we're talking about cybercrime, right? When you get attacked, for example, you are hacked and your face is used. I'm told there are people that are so cunning and craft that they can use your face. You are not the actual person who is acting pornography, but get your faces there. Have you heard of such things? Yeah. So in case you find yourself in such a scenario, now you are worried about your identity. You are worried about people. You are worried about the community and the environment. You are worried about everything. Stress comes in, depression comes in, and everything. The first thing that will be attacked are your thoughts. And your thought patterns will be based on what has happened. Simple things like losing your Facebook account. How do we react? Okay, losing your phone. How do we react, most of us? Just losing your phone. Losing your phone. Most of us are disturbed, right? And our thought processes are based on what is happening. Now, you have heard people say, be careful of what you think about, be careful of your associates. You have heard of people saying that, be careful of what you listen to, be careful of what you watch. It is because these things have the capability of influencing your what? Your thoughts processes. And so it is important that we protect our cyberspace so that our thought processes remains what? Intact. So if your thought processes are affected, it will lead to your emotions. Your thoughts have the capability of influencing your emotions. Whether you like it or not, whatever that you're thinking about will trickle down to your emotions. And when your emotions are affected, it will get to your behavior. And when your behavior is affected, it will get now down to your physiology. This is the reason why some of you, when you are so sad or upset, what do you do? Some of you do what? You shake your physiology. Where did it start from? Some of you even express your emotions by way of doing what? Behavior. The behavior such as doing what? Committing. Others even developing severe conditions such as psychosis. And then it gets down now to the physiology. Is that be careful of the things that affect your thought processes. And the major thing that we are talking about today is the cyber crime. Beware of that, because once you are affected, once you are attacked, your thought processes will be affected. Ultimately, your emotions will be affected, and your behavior will be affected, and eventually, your physiology will be affected. Now, there was a question to say, can you have a mental illness overnight? The answer is yes or yes and no. Not yes or no, but yes and no. That is the answer. This, in the long run, may seem to be very easy, but sometimes the stress, the PTSD that it comes with, may lead you in the long run to have more severe mental conditions. And this is the reason why we are emphasizing, and this is the reason why Mr. Preston decided that you have this class today. Now, you know that there is no health without mental health. There is no health without mental health. Just like a computer has what is known as the CPU, the central processing unit, a man or a person also has the central processing unit, and that is the mind. That once it shuts down, there is nothing that can do what? That can work. I always tell people to say, with a broken leg, with a broken arm, if you have an exam, you can study, and perhaps you can do what? You can pass an exam if you study so hard. You can have an interaction with your relatives, with anyone else, but when you shut down mentally, everything about you does what? Shuts down. There's nothing that you can do. Now, this is the reason why we do not want to get associated with people at China. How many of us want to associate with people that we call Abape? No one. It is because of the stigma that comes with that. And so, from today, we should be aware that cybercrime can lead us into having severe mental health conditions that we cannot talk about here, because it is not a mental health master class, but it is a cyber what? Security class. I think, to accommodate others, I will end there.
Right. Thank you so much. So I am going to allow only 3 hands to ask questions, 3 people to ask questions if there are any. Another hand. I want to count the hands. 1, 2, the last one. 3. Okay. This one. My question basically is, what's the best way to handle something that's outside your reach? Personally, I would say I have control issues, and when something happens and I can't control it, I get anxious. Sometimes I end up getting a little bit, maybe physically sick, like they say, from the top going to the body. So what's the best way to handle something that you can't control?
Right, you said it's a personal question, and what I'm able to pick from your question is, you know the condition that you have, and you are aware of the environment, which means that you are able to manipulate the environment. Sometimes these conditions become so severe to an extent that you as an individual, you cannot realize that you're in a certain state. So in your state where you are able to know that you are so anxious, and you know your condition, the best thing that you can ever do is to seek help. When I talk about help, I'm talking about seeking professional help. Now, we do not seek help because we are afraid of what people are going to say. He went to see a psychologist. He or she is mad. He's meeting a psychiatrist. No. There's something that is wrong with that person. So the best way and the first step of you controlling what you cannot control is to seek help. And in this case, we're talking about seeking professional help. Number two, if you cannot seek professional help, find someone that you can confide in. You know, we are living in a society where the space is shrinking at a faster rate, and friends are becoming rare. By this I mean true friends. A lot of friends that we have are those when we talk to them, tomorrow they're going to broadcast. And so it becomes very difficult for us to share our conditions. And so what we find is people resorting to committing suicide. So create meaningful relationships that you can sustain, and identify people that you can talk to, people that you can call, even at midnight, and talking to them. I want to tell you something. Most of us, the conditions that we have, we do not need people to advise us on what we need to do. What we need, most of us, are people just to talk to. People that will just be there listening and will be okay. Because we have a lot of things in us. We have a lot of garbage in us, and we need to offload. So number one, seek professional help. Number two, find people that you can confide in.
First and foremost, I would like to applaud the people behind the initiative of calling this meeting, because we need to understand that not well-managed cybersecurity has become a challenge. And it itself and mental health is a sequel. So you find not well-managed cybersecurity will lead to not well-managed mental health. So when we get to have forums like this and get to talk about such kind of issues, it is something that should be done on a day-to-day basis. Mr. Peleke, I think you actually be the best person to answer the question that I'm about to ask. We are very aware of the fight that you put up against mental health awareness. The key feature in us trying to eradicate or mitigate the effects of mental health is to engage policymakers and to engage at a higher level. What are some of the policies do you think that the government should deploy to ensure that issues of mental health are made a thing of the past, and people that are victims of not well managed mental health are the policies that the government? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. 3 years down the line, 3 years ago, a bill was to be passed in Parliament what was so shocking, I remember one of the persons that had to embed my signature on the petition that was going around, and then it went to Parliament. One thing that shocked me as an individual, and I believe it shocked others, was that it took parliamentarians to debate the mental health bill, to be passed. And one thing that I can assure you, if you followed that debate, is that majority of the parliamentarians did not. These, when you talk about, I'm talking about policy, because when you talk about policy, we cannot isolate it from our parliamentarians. These are lawmakers. Yeah, majority of our parliamentarians did not know the importance of mental health. And so it took about 5 sittings for them to come to a resolution. Now, a resolution came about as a result of inviting an expert to explain to them what mental health is. The time for voting came. The first time, the bill did not go through. And they still expressed ignorance. So that already should tell you that we have a challenge. If those people that make our laws cannot see the importance of mental health, then you and I are doomed. We are doomed. So when you talk about the policies, thank God, a few years later, the bill was passed. So we have a bill, a mental health bill, in that policy, embedded in that policy. That bill should be put into consideration, and people should start acting on it. It should not just be a word of mouth, but action should be associated to that. The second that should be introduced is that of having well-trained psychologists and psychiatrists in all health. In psychologists and psychiatrists at Chinaman. Levy, maybe we have, I think, one psychiatrist or two there, but most of them are medical doctors there. When you get to, which hospital is? UTH, we have level, we call it, what, Clinic 6. When it gets to Clinic 6, most of the people that you find there, the ones that are handling these issues are mental health nurses, psychiatrists most of the times are not there, psychologists are not there. All right, and so apart from these two, I don't know, maybe you can guide me, which other hospital do we have a psychologist and a psychiatrist? The other one that you can think about is Livingstone General Hospital and Donna. Kitwe, we have the psychiatry department, but then we lack human resource there. So it should be a policy that each and every health facility should have a well-trained psychologist and a psychiatrist. Suffice to mention, we should also train a lot of people in this field because they are very few. Very few. I can cite clinical psychologists that we have in Zambia because the first cohort was held not too long ago. And there are not so many. There are not so many. They cannot be more than 10, if my memory serves me well. Meaning we have a challenge. When you talk about psychiatry, a lot of, even you, most of you that are doing medicine, you don't want to go and major into psychiatry once you're done. In the example of China, man, no. So that should be a policy. And then the third thing that I would comment on that we must do, every one of us should put up a fight. And that fight should be the one that will be addressing, breaking the barriers of stigma. There is a lot of stigma that is attached to mental health. I think if we move and many other policies that we can talk about, we are going to move in the right direction as a country.
Thank you very much. Mine is not a question, but a comment because of the things that I do. Number one, all of us we are here. The most important thing is when we leave this room, what is your take home? What are you going with? Then what are you going to do, or whatever information that you find? That's the first thing. Then number two, I deal with politicians. Those people, most of them are sick. They don't know what they are doing. Yeah. I can be very rough, but we meet with them most of the time. Most of them, they don't know why they go to parliament. That's why someone can spend in parliament just to go say, that's all. But they get what? They get paid. Where does the problem start from? From us. Because we elect them, put them there, but they don't know what it's supposed to do. So we need to create a unit where you have people who think. The thought process is very important. Then what we feed our mind is very important. However, the biggest challenge we have, trust in this world is no longer existing. There are very few people you can trust. If I tell you to say, I give an example, I want to propose that the first thing she'll say or she'll ask is, are you married? The answer that is going to come in my mind is no. What is what? I am married. We will stay in a relation for 10 years. She doesn't know that I'm married. Except when she gets pregnant as a baby, then the war begins. So family unit no longer exists. Maybe, I don't know, maybe people who used to unite families are all dead, I don't know. But I think we can make a difference. Most of us here are young, so we can make a difference. So these issues can be simple to be handled when you have a unit where you can communicate to anyone concerning anything. And nowadays it's mind your own business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As a way of concluding, Mr. Mission, this is a movement that you have started. And this movement will be intensified, and people out there who are not here should know about it. And so, most of us have text messages. We're going to do one thing before I say. Choose two people that you're going to text right now. You're going to text them and you're going to raise awareness. And so you're just going to text them just a sentence. You're going to tell them, you're going to hashtag and tell them, cybercrime is the real. Protect your cyberspace, protect your mental health. Just two people. Can we do that? Yes. As we are here, right? Yeah. So cyber crime is the real. Protect your cyberspace, protect your mental health. So I think we can even beam it so that people text them. Just choose two people and text them, and other people are going to know about what we're doing. Thank you so much.
No, we can do better than that. Check. Sinizi wakamba mtizungu. Round of time. Yeah, whatever he says. Now, change my total representative. So he talked of member of parliament. Right? So as aspiring MP for Kabushi, I will make sure that when I'm elected into office, all those Tizambo Itaya, we not have Tizambo and believe you me, I'm the very, very right candidate for Kabushi. Vote for me, you people have got relatives there. And family units are there. Me and my wife here. Oh. So, yeah, what do we have next?
Apanso, Takalako Nama lessons continuously, so I think we can have a poem from from the angelic voice. Is that a question? Not really. I'm not going to allow that. Maybe after. So we can have the angelic voice.
So in short, twagamba nti bafuna ama question, bafuna amafunzo ayi per last.
So see, there's number of examples that I hope I'm not one of them who has been what and what. No, it depends with what kind of a relationship he was talking about. We are together. Otherwise, I've been in a lot of relationships, church relationships, family relationships. All those are relationships.
This piece I'm going to do is entitled Ubondi. Ubondi. Okay, hi, my name is Leonard. Kubondi, cool kids call me Leon. Female parents usually call me Lenny. Cute girls call me Lee. They never dare for call me Masali, which means sons. See, I grew up in a community where speaking English is somehow weakness, while throwing punches is a form of physical fitness. Depression is not really an illness, many people don't care about that where I come from. But abusing drugs and alcohol is one of the normal routines that happen. Kubondi, soca, aka Kampong, is one of the routines that saves us from the corrupting, addicting things of this world. Kubondi, I've seen more teenage pregnancies than iPhones. Kubondi, during the rainy seasons, floods fill our homes like no man's business. Kubondi, people's faces are left with scars of poverty, but yet laughter is scattered all over the place. It's like that's the only way they can drain their mess away. Well, some people literally dump their mess in the drainage system. Kubondi, that's where I come from. That's where my mom and dad rent out a small house covered in bricks with a roof that leaks. But after facing the world like today, the moment I stepped into that small house, I became the real me. I can do whatever I want. I can be whoever I want because in that small house, I am home. Kubondi, I have my mom, my dad, my little sister, my brothers, and dad remind me that I can be whoever I want. I can achieve all my dreams regardless of where I'm coming from. Kubondi, we have literally formed a strong bond. I don't need a dictionary to spell out the word love, because love is in mom and dad, my brothers, and my little sister. That's where I come from, for Kubondi, and I thank you.
See, Kubondi watu tima gomeleza ma question. Kubondi. Kubondi, not police bond, but Kubondi. Wazadu zako Kubondi hapa.
Okay, we are moving forward, and we have our next and fourth presenter, who is Mr. Evans Kulita. Please, let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much. You have found time to come and be part of this masterclass this time. And thank you so much for the initiative and the presenters. So for me, we'll take a bit of a detour, and my presentation is going to be in form of entertainment. 4 years ago, just along this same road, as a young person, newly employed by Edith University, and the income is coming in quickly. I thought to take life at a more faster speed than I was supposed to do. So on the 12th March in 2019, I got involved in a road accident. I was driving a borrowed car, and I hit another car which had kids behind. They got injured. They come. That when I heard about this masterclass, especially concerning mental health, I thought I would share my experience. It might not be you, but you know someone who's suffering from some form of mental issues. Lately, we've had postings of teachers and nurses, health workers, and a lot of people have taken it so personal, such that their emotions are so overbearing that they are failing to contain themselves, and the only resort they have the nearest is committing suicide. So I picked up a song. This gentleman was a twin. He lost a brother. Then went spiraled down into mental issues. Then found comfort in music. So let's listen to the piece and pay attention to the way.
All my life, held it in, but not anymore. Got 2 feet on the floor. This is it, I'm stronger than ever before. Pardon my imposition, need to get this off my mind. I gotta be me, I gotta be who I know I am until I can finally breathe, taking it in, look at me flying. It's always been there, it just took me a minute to find it. If I were to be anybody else, I'll just be hiding, I'll just be hiding. Who I am, who I am. Like on a little bar, never gave him a chance to ever be more. I didn't love him, but I'm gonna be it's always been there, it just took me a minute to find it. Who I
Thank you so much. And what I want to encourage you is in life we have our darkest moments when you feel there is no any other hope. When you look at yourself, you feel helpless. I tell you, my experience was worse. For me to repair 2 cars, actually the other one was to be bought. To fix and pay off the person who died. And then the kids that were injured in that particular accident, they all needed money. So I had to get loans and loans and loans and loans, such that my survival was very limited. I couldn't pay my rentals. I was adopted at some point, started staying with a friend, then became a bit suicidal. When I looked at the wage bill, I said, how will I ever manage to pay all this? But then, in the midst of all that, I found my purpose. I looked at myself and said, what is more when if I die? Then it's true, my relatives will have to pay for all these things. So the best is for me to discover myself and face life like nothing ever happened before. I'm telling you, it wasn't an easy ride, but find comfort, even the people, like the other presenters have mentioned. Associate yourself with people that can help you, people that can use you, people that can take your problem, make it theirs. They might not give you financial support, but when they just talk to you, this masterclass has come at the right time for you to open up and share your experience. Let us learn from you. How did you manage your emotions? How did you manage to live above what everybody? Some people, for me, people wrote me off. They said I was going to die because the pressure was too much. But as I'm speaking to you now, I'm stable. I have a family now. My wife just got recruited, so you see. So imagine if you had died. Let them show you how best you can overcome the challenges that can make you become suicidal. Okay, so you share with your neighbor, that neighbor that you know, that friend that you know. They might be struggling one or the other. Sometimes they might not open up to you. But if you notice something wrong with them, talk to them, approach them. Then probably create space for them to be open with you. And the fight against and mental health issues, we are going to win if we unite. Otherwise, if we just let it for Mr. Pelekero to preach, to spread the message, and then the message that is coming to us, if we are not domesticating in our homes, then definitely these mental health issues will keep claiming more lives. Okay, so as I conclude, I picked up another song where if there is someone that needs to share an experience that people can learn from, that we can learn from, it's your opportunity now. If they are, maybe one or two, we want to hear from you. We want to learn from you today. So, thank you so much.
All right, that's a touching story. And due to time, we'll call upon Hector, who will just wind up everything that we have had, and we call it a day. So let's just pay particular attention as she's concluding everything that we have had for the day. So let's just pay particular attention as she's concluding everything that we have had for the day.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's a lot of noise. I really need to put it here. Good afternoon, people. I think maybe, sorry. Good afternoon, people. I think maybe, sorry. Sorry, I'm waiting if it's going to come or the mic. Okay. I want I just want to say thank you in the first place. I can be corrected, yeah? I'm not a stranger. For people that are seeing me for the very first time, I've been a student here at Eden University, and I was trained under a program called Guidance and Counseling. I'm going to understand I was the first student to be trained in that program. Maybe this is when it has started now. And he was my lecturer. Yes. And believe me, we had a great time, we had a wonderful time up to the time I graduated. And you know, being the temptation of being the last person to speak, you want to just that's the way it goes. So the other thing I would like to say, thank you. These guys you see here are my brothers. Okay, we come a long way. And Mr. Kaunda, the owner of this school, he's been, for some of us, he's been a father. He's been a father to some of us because he's the one that has brought us where we are right now. I'm meant to believe, even my brothers here, it was a journey that just started with one step, and here we are. Little did I know that we'd even sit like this and have a master class initiated by our, let me just say patron for today. Our patron in this place, yes. So it's a wonderful thing, and I would like to see. I just want. I heard what my brother said this side. He said we're going to do this more often. It's very, very important that at least we should have time to talk about these things. I'm very passionate about us young people. So the time I heard there's something that we have to talk about, I was like, I'm game, I'm coming. Mr. Mwinga has an initiative that is bringing forth so that we can talk about it as young people. I was like, I'm game, I'm coming, because it's time for us to get talking. It's time for us to put things down. It's time for us to realize and relate and get together so that we can push the agenda in life. I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know what your problem is right now. A lot of people say so many things. Cybercrime is a real thing. And mental health is also a real thing. These two things are inseparable because social life has increased. Each and every day, you know, it's no longer the days where we used to see our parents holding a newspaper, they're reading every day. You know, it's happening, but not the way it is right now. If you want to know about what's happening in the government, you read on social media. You'll get informed, isn't it? You don't have to wait for parents to explain to you what has happened, or maybe what they have heard about the upcoming government or whatnot. There's just news is just everywhere, and it's easy for us to get informed. It's easy for us to get enlightened. It's easy for us to know what's happening. And in the process of having knowledge increased, yes, a lot of people are getting into a lot of issues, isn't it? Let me just give this example that is very closer to home. Recently, there's just an issue going on Facebook. If you've been reading about one woman, and I feel bad because standing before you here is a woman, and I could imagine what's going through Mrs. Shiva's mind. I don't know if it's Director General, I'm meant to be corrected, a Director General for death. Yes, this woman is going through an issue where the allegations or accusations or whatever that is, I don't even know what to call that, where they're saying that, you know, she was in a porn video or something like that, okay? So if we sit down to discuss issues like this, it means it's hold down there, and there's a lot that we have to sit down and change. So it will take initiatives like this coming from our patron today, and you and I, so that we just tackle these things, fight, and make sure that no one is left behind when it comes to these things that are killing. We're talking about suicide here. I didn't know, I've known my brother for quite some time, I didn't know that he had undergone an issue like that. Believe me, having to kill somebody, because he doesn't look like a killer. When you look at him, does he look like a killer? He doesn't look like a killer because he wouldn't even know how to hold a mango knife to even stab somebody, isn't it? But something happened in his life that maybe if it would have been anyone else, the only thing that they would want is to end their lives. But look at him today. He's here to testify to the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. It's not very easy to go through what he had undergone. But we thank God for his life. Why cyber security? Why is it important? We cannot leave this subject, we cannot leave this out because this is what we are dealing with every day. We are having information and whatnot, organization having broken down because somebody has to hack in the system. We are having people going through a lot of issues because of these same things we're talking about. In 2019, or maybe slightly 18 and 19, close somewhere there in between. I'm trying to just, I can't remember maybe correctly which year it was. I lost money, okay? My mother sold a house and lost money. A few church members where I come from, they lost money because of this cyber security thing we're discussing today. I got a laptop, somebody gifted me with a laptop, an Apple. Filipinos very excited. Filipinos very excited. He's a comedian, I'm sure. So an Apple, you know how it feels to just get something that you really wanted to have. Then somebody came up with an initiative, called Vama Bitcoin, Vama Challenge. These Forex and whatnot, these things that we do every day. I got excited because I thought I was going to get rich in one day and become the next Mark. Is it Mark or Zach? The Facebook is Zach, isn't it? I thought I was going to get rich and be like him. So I quickly rushed for this initiative and sold my laptop very cheaply as compared to the price it was purchased on. I sold and got involved in this thing, and I created 3 accounts. My mother, like I said, sold a house and she was part of this, initiative. Well, we thought this is going to work out because I know if I invest today, in the next month, I am going to buy another laptop and I'm going to keep on investing. I was even recruiting people. There was evangelism taking place there. Bringing people and saying, guys, this thing is happening. I've seen somebody getting this and this much. You can also do it. I preached that gospel that just left me where I am today. You know what? I remember my mother, I've got a mother and also a spiritual mother, a mentor. And she was also part of it. But my biological mother saw the house and invested in that, thing that I'm talking about. Because it all popped up like something that was going to work out very, very well. Before we knew it, I think a few minutes down the line, we just realized that we got swindled. I lost, because apart from the money that I sold the laptop and to just add on, I realized that, okay, that was close, maybe 10,000 slightly and more. I lost that money, and my mother lost that money, and whoever was involved in the whole thing lost the money because somebody had hacked in the system, and that's how we lost the money, okay? It causes a lot of wrong things happening inside us, because the truth is that you get disturbed. Like my brother was talking about these mental things. It's very true because you start thinking, where am I going to get the money? I just sold the house and this has happened. So these things are real, and I pray that we'll find more time to talk about them. Someone was saying, I don't know, is it mental illness, China and whatnot. On the other side, I want to also say that I deal with people that are stressed every day, and I go to Chainama on a regular basis. I'm doing voluntary work at the rehab or sober home, if you may call it, that are addicted to drugs, alcohol, and these other things. People that are depressed, issues that we are talking about today. So we are meant to go to Chainama all the time. Put the demon around, stressed, depressed, and what. And I'll tell you, you can only give what you have. Sometimes it felt so hard because I didn't know what depression was until at some point I was diagnosed with 3rd-degree depression. Yes, 3rd-degree. That's the correct way, right? Yeah. So it means the last one, which can either get you mad or you die or something like that. I thought the whole world was just, I thought Zambia was an inter-tweaker from where I'm moving with it. I'm just like this. I cried every day because I thought life just came to a point where it wasn't just making sense. Where you feel you want so many things. Ladies, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Do we have ladies in the house? There's just that time in life where you feel, I've reached this point. I should have a business. I should have a house. I should have a home. I should have this. And those things are just not happening. I just felt like it's over and I'm done. By the special grace of God, God has given me grace to get educated. The time I was coming to either doing my second degree. And these other small things by the special grace of God. I still couldn't find a job. It was so hard. Okay, I'm a pretty good teacher because I'm also a secondary school teacher. I teach business studies. It couldn't work. I tried to do this and that, it couldn't work. Now, talking of money, I struck a shara and then I got to learn to issue. It couldn't work. It was so hard. You know, I felt like I now have 7 minutes. I've already been given a notification here. It was so hard because you think, now you start looking at yourself and you're thinking, and the devil will be so close to you because now you think it feels good when he knows you are getting depressed. He feels good when he knows you've reached the dead end. Okay? He feels good when you're talking about suicide. He feels good when he knows you've lost hope. He feels good when he knows you cannot talk to anybody. This is why I'm saying situations like this, where we are today, it all takes the grace of God to discuss issues like this. We have men and women that are here where we are. Some of us given an opportunity to unbundle what is inside us. Believe me, it will take us a week and plus to just get to the point and solution. Because the world has reached a situation, somebody said there's no one you can trust. It is so hard. It's true. It's difficult to find people you can trust, but there's always someone you can talk to. 3rd-degree depression, I was crying every day. You know, I remember that time I was found in a place called Kafiwe because we were shooting. There's this movie we were shooting. People didn't know what I was going through, but I was smiling every day. We were camping, I was wake up and smile and say, hi, hello, everybody. Because I love us young people, so I'll get the girls, I talk to them, I talk to guys. Little did they know that I was battling something inside. And the psychologist then told me, you need to start medication because you're going to die. But Mercy said, no, you will not die. And it's not over because I have not gone the last whistle. That's what God said. I remember I heard voices where people were singing. It was a Sunday. The same time I was thinking, let me just die. Then I heard people singing somewhere. And I said, God, the only thing I want is to locate and find where I can hear those voices because as hard as it is, I just want to get to your presence. I started walking, I started asking people in Kafiwe, I don't know this place, I've been here like for the first time, what do you call that? We were camping for the first time because the scenes were supposed to shoot that side. We're camping, I don't know this place, lead me. I've heard people singing, and those voices, that's where I want to be. By the special grace of God, I covered like maybe 20 and plus minutes, and I found the place where we were singing. You know, I reached in that church, the pastor was preaching, and I was like, what is it that you're going to say that I do not know? Give me something different because it's hurting inside me. Because if I don't get it, I am just going to lose it. This man came out like he knew what I was talking about because the Holy Spirit is real and Jesus is real. This man prayed for me and spoke to me like he knew what I was going through. We thank God, here we are. Because everyone was born with an assignment. So if God is not done with you, you cannot go. Let's not give room to the enemy to kick us out before our time. Let's fight this. Patron and everyone here, let's do more of this. Let's tell others. My brother just said, let's text people and let's talk about this. Tell them they spread the good news. Instead of saying, much money is about to watch water. Give them the good news and to tell them there's something happening. Let's go back. Let's get educated. Let's get enlightened. Let's encourage each other. I counsel people every day because guidance and counseling here, that's why I'm saying we are here because now it's easy for me to talk to people. Because I feel partly that is the area of my calling, even if maybe I did some other things by the grace of God. I feel I need to talk to people because I'm happy about foolish. He talked about sexual abuse. Very few people will tell you I was abused when I was 9 years old, and this is why I feel like sleeping with everyone every day. This is an addiction that has come. No one will tell you what's going on. I've just been warned. Someone is doing this. We thank God, and I pray that we're going to bring more people next time. This is a very good number. And Petron, please, let's push the agenda. Let's bring more people. Let's talk about this. It's not over until God says it's over. Let's clap for Jesus in this place. Thank you so much, Sir, and everybody who took time to listen. God bless you. I hope we are blessed from everything that we heard today. Thank you.
That was a very good presentation with passion and personally, thank you so much. So just before we conclude, just before we even call the angelic poets to give us one poem, and even before we call Mr. Preston Ringer to give us the closing remarks, I just have a very simple exercise. So, ladies and gentlemen in the house, so I'm just going to point at anybody randomly. And so you're going to tell us what you have learned today from all the lessons that we've had, from all the speakers. Just tell us something that you've learned. Yeah, and what you're going to tell people outside there who did not find time or have a chance of attending this masterclass. So, Holy Spirit, lead me. Can you just tell us something that you've learned from today's masterclass?
Right. I've learned a number of things. Okay. For instance, like the presentation that was done by Mr. Pelekel when he was talking about cognitive triangle. I've realized that actually most of these things that we get to experience, it begins with the thoughts. Okay, so it begins with the way we think, then it leads to the emotions, from emotions then the behavior. So what I've learned is very important that we have positive thoughts. When we have positive thoughts, even our emotions will be better, and our outcome will be okay. So that's what I've learned basically.
Thank you. The spirit has been shifted from her to me, and it goes to you.
Yeah, gender balance, gender balance.
Say my crime is real. Okay, the summary.
She has summarized in the shortest words, like me. Yes.
All right. So.
No, life is short, like me. So you need to summarize it and enjoy it with you. Yes. I accepted that I'm short and handsome.
That one. All right, we are going to call the angelic poets to give us the last poem, and after that, we are going to have Mr. Preston Ringer to give us the closing remarks.
Buongiorno.
So this piece, it's entitled Dear Single Parent Family. It's for everybody who was brought up in a single parent family. Yeah. They say that two is better off than one. I mean, even Jesus had those more than ones, those special someones to make him complete. But how can I compete with the world when I am incomplete? How can I be happy when I'm living in a single parent family? You know, it's hard to believe that my dad is truly really gone. I can still remember the last words he said good night and see you tomorrow. But little did I know that the tomorrow he was talking about will bring so much sorrow. That night when Dad skipped out, he had left an empty space. Now I feel like I'm in a race because of the mess I'm about to face it. No one can replace him. Nowadays I'm living a life that seems like God does not care about my prayers, and Mom is always crying and trying to make life better, but everything seems bitter. I used to go to school without tasting bread or butter. You know, many people say I've got skills, but my life seems like a dream because Mom is not able to pay the bills. Dear Dad, how could you leave us?
Where did it all go wrong? Why on earth are we singing this song? It was all roses and rainbows, but it later changed to fist and elbows. My family was once a very good, happy family, but suddenly my parents started arguing and fighting until the day they split up. Watching the breakup of my parents' marriage was the most painful experience that I'll never, ever forget. It left me wondering, why did my parents split up? Why did they pick up their marriage instead of giving up? I remember the day that Mom left us. We didn't know what was going on at that moment. Now Dad is always at work and I just live alone at home all the time. Sometimes we just sit by the window and wonder whether my father is gone for good. I am always doing the house chores at home. Due to a life I never chose, I kind of feel like I'm made. And no one understands that I was not made for this kind of life. Dear Mom, how could you leave us?
You know, I had always thought that you're always going to be there, Dad. To be there till the time I graduated. To tell me you love me and to tell me you're proud. But I guess it's time I stop living in the past and accept that my dad is gone, but stop living in the past and accept that my dad is gone, but not forever. And to all the kids around the world who are living in a single parent family, I want to tell you this. Do not ever think that you're hopeless or worthless because you're motherless, or fatherless because you have a Father in heaven and He is love that is endless. So cheer up. For Mulungu Sama Kona, Pali Iwedi.
Dear God, mubatalalikiwa mukamfwirwa, mubatalalikiwa onsabafirwa tata. Yes, I know that you are a widow. I know that you are an orphan. But let me tell you this. There is Jesus. He will turn your sad stories into testimonies. He will come and take us to a place where eyes won't cry, joy won't dry, and sorrow will never see tomorrow. Thank you.
That was so touching.
I know.